Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'd like to show you a few new plants that I've got recently. So a few weeks ago it was my birthday and I went to Gardening Scotland and got a few plants, and I'd like to show you which ones I've got and tell you a little bit about them. Some of the plants I've grown before, other ones are completely new to me. To be honest, most of them are new to me. So there's two house plants and there's two outdoor plants that I've got. So the first one here is the Gerbera. Now, I've never grown a Gerbera before, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. You can see it's got lovely red flowers, this one. Now, I've looked after Gerbera before when I was in a garden centre, because we used to sell a lot of these all the time, but I never bought one myself, so it'll be interesting to grow this. This will be in quite a light position, but without direct sunlight. And it's got quite a lot of, you can see it's got lots of healthy leaves. It's got a lot of flower buds coming up. You can see, I don't know if you can see them in the camera, but there's quite a few flower buds coming up there. So I'm hoping it should flower all summer long. Come winter it might stop flowering for a while, but it should start again once the heat and light comes back. So I'll probably repot this in another video in maybe a few weeks, because as you can see it's a little bit pot bound, as you expect whenever you buy a plant from a garden centre. It's always a bit pot bound, so I'll probably replant that, but it's doing really well. I've had it about 2 weeks and it's looking really healthy, so I'm happy with it. And the flowers last a long time, which is nice about it. I mean, it's had these same 3 flowers for the last few weeks and they're looking really healthy still. I think that's the oldest one. Second oldest one I think is that one probably. And this one just opened up probably about a week ago and it's looking nice. And as I said, there's lots coming, so quite happy with that. Let's see how it goes. And the other plant, my girlfriend actually got this one from a little cactus stall at Gardening Scotland. That's the Latin name there. So I'm not really sure. I've never really grown this before, but it's a Malephora thunbergii. So it's a small succulent. It should have small yellow flowers. I'm not sure. Some of them seem to have pink or red flowers, but I think this one has small yellow flowers. And it's quite nice. As you can see, it's really quite a fat succulent, little stubby leaves, not much stem. It's quite compact. And I've got it in some very poor, gravelly, almost like pure sand. So it's obviously likes it very free draining. So I'm going to repot this soon as well into a small little pot, just a nicer looking pot. It doesn't really need a bigger pot because a lot of your succulents and that don't need big pots. But it'll be going into a different pot just to make it look nicer. And yeah, so I'll see how that grows. I think it will probably get quite a bit taller. I looked online, it seems to be one of those succulents that kind of crawl along the ground, so I'm expecting to put out some longer shoots soon. But it's doing quite well. It hasn't really grown since I've had it, as I've kept it quite dry, but we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately I don't have any of this nice sandy material, but I have got some cactus compost and I'll just add a bit of extra grit into it and maybe some perlite as well to encourage it to grow well. So that's the other one. And then that's all my house plants, but I've got two outdoor plants. And these are also from Gardening Scotland, which is, by the way, if you don't know what Gardening Scotland is, it's basically a gardening show, a bit like Chelsea, but not quite as spectacular as Chelsea. It's got show gardens and it's also got lots of different displays by different nurseries and people selling plants. So it's quite interesting. A lot of people who like gardens and plants go there every year. So I'll start with this one, which is an Acer. It caught my eye and it was really cheap. See there, it's just $3.99. And it's called Acer palmatum emerald lace. So it's one of the palmatum acers, so basically a Japanese maple. As you know, Acer palmatum has hundreds of different varieties. I haven't seen this one before and I thought it looked quite nice. I think it's very similar to Acer palmatum dissectum, which is another one with the very frilly leaves. You can see how fine and frilly the leaves are. Get it to focus there. It's looking really quite nice. I looked up online and this one apparently starts off, we can see here, starts off kind of pink when it first comes out, and then the leaves go to a nice green. And then apparently later on in the summer the leaves have a red rim around the edge of the leaves. I think maybe the tips of this one are just starting to get that, but it's kind of hard to see. And then apparently it's got really good autumn colour as well. So this will be a nice little plant. So this is an outdoor plant, so it'll have to go on my balcony. But I might make a bonsai out of this, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. Part of the reason for making a bonsai is I don't have the space for it basically to grow into a full-size tree. So a bonsai would look quite good, I think. I just really like the leaves. This is so frilly. It's quite different to some of the other Acers I've seen. My other Acer palmatum that I've had before and that I really liked was Orange Dream, which is palmate again, but it's not as frilly, the foliage. So this will be a nice one. I'm not sure how big it's going to grow, because if you look here on the back of the label, there's had a weird translation error. I'm not sure why that is, but basically I think in Dutch it says it grows to 2.5 meters. Sorry, in German 2.5 meters. In Dutch, no, this is Dutch yet. In Dutch it grows to 2.5 meters. In German, apparently it says it grows to 2 meters. If you're English, it grows to 2.5 meters. And if you're French, it grows to 4 meters. So I have no idea why in different languages it grows to different heights. Doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can think of is maybe different climates. Maybe in France it's nice and warm, it grows taller. But that doesn't really make sense, because Germany has a better climate than England, and so does Holland. And Holland is saying only 2 meters, whereas the UK 250. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter too much, because I'll probably grow it one day anyway. But maybe one day if I put it in the garden, it would be useful to know. So I'll probably look that up and find out what that size that really grows into. I mean, most of the Acer palmatums, they grow quite small, so I'm not expecting it to be a big tree. And the other one here is a hybrid larch. It says Dunkeld Larch on the label. This is bought from Gardening Scotland again. This was from the bonsai stand, which is why it's got a wire on it here. The idea is they were selling young starter plants for people to make bonsai. So the idea is I wrap this cable around the plant and I train it into the shape I want. But I actually chose this one because I want an upright bonsai and I want to have nice lateral branches coming out from the sides. And you can see this one's got really good rows of lateral branches, so it should look nice. I'll probably cut some of these lower branches off because they're not necessary at the moment, but I'll keep them for now just to help thicken the base of the trunk so it tapers nicely. And as it's a hybrid larch, it should grow really fast and do really well because it's a lot more vigorous being a hybrid. So the Dunkeld Larch is a cross between Japanese larch and European larch. So as you can see there, it's already put on a few centimeters this year. And looking at the growth pattern from last year, it actually grew from right down here all the way up to the top there to its full height. Put it aside so you can see it easier. It grew all that last year, so it's definitely a vigorous plant. It's in quite a big pot, so it should put on quite a lot of growth again this year. It will be on my balcony, so it's not the sunniest position, but I'm sure it will still put on a decent amount of growth anyway. So I'll keep you updated with these plants. Maybe pot the Acers is in a particularly small pot. The larch I'll keep in this unless it grows a huge amount. Don't think it needs a bigger pot. But the idea with these is I'm going to grow them in a larger pot to get the plants quite big. That way the stems thicken up quickly and I get a nice thick girth on the trunks for the bonsai. And then I reduce the size of the plant and it will look a bit more bonsai than if I put it in a small pot. It will take quite a long time to really get into its full size. So there we are, that's the 2 outdoor plants and my house plants. I'll keep you updated as to how these do and what I'll be doing with these in the future.